Hi, thanks for being with me for this podcast. I'm Gerald Loden, Superintendent of Nixon Schools, and I have with me today Dr. Jared Webster. He's our Executive Director over secondary schools. A lot of you are going to recognize him. He was junior high principal for several years and been at the central office. Doc, this is your third year now?
It is.
It's hard to believe it's already 3 years.
It is.
And since he's been at the central office, it's been a great transition. And Dr. Webster's been working with Dr. Kelly, who a lot of you know. And one of our goals is to do a better job about communicating the importance of the ACT and also the PSAT, which are things that we may throw terms around, but as a parent, what does that mean? And I don't know about you, but I like the idea of money for college, and that's one of the right reasons. I don't think at times people realize if you're a 4.0 student at Nixon High School and you have a 25 on the ACT, but if I take the hardest classes possible and I'm a 3.75 and I have a 30 on the ACT, I'm going to receive more dollars.
Yeah, that's going to be more beneficial to you. I think when you look at that ACT, it's not just having it. You know, every threshold, every level is going to open certain doors to you wouldn't have had in the first place. I think, you know, kind of that standard is around an 18. That's going to get you accepted into most colleges. And from there and up, you're looking at scholarship opportunities. And then you mentioned the pre-SAT, the PSAT. That's what is national merit. And our high school principal is really good about mentioning, you know, people think, well, what if I don't make a finalist or don't get it? But just being nominated and hitting that semifinalist role can earn you full ride at certain colleges.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because, I mean, you have to be the best of the best to be a semifinalist. And even you're an elite if you're a finalist. If you're a semifinalist, you're going to receive just about a full ride at a lot of colleges.
Yeah.
And that can be life-changing, you know. In our area here, it seems like by default people plan on A+, which is a great program. But often the children, what I've learned is they may have debt because they go 2 more years, where you could literally, if you're a very mature student and you make great grades, you could have a full ride for 4 years at a university if that's your desire.
Yeah.
And we have opportunities if someone wants to go learn a trade, if they want, I mean, we have all kinds of opportunities. Yeah. But two, if I remember correctly from being a high school principal, the ACT is a lot more curriculum-based, where the PSAT's a little more logical thinking. So you may have some students that can do very well on both, but some may gravitate towards one or the other.
Yes.
Do you have any advice? If I'm a parent, when should I start thinking about the ACT?
Excellent. You need to be starting to think about it sophomore year. You need to consider, when do I need to take it? What is the aspiration of my kid? You know, what college are they looking at? Certain colleges, especially if you go to the coasts, they're going to have pretty high expectations. You're going to want to start looking at the ACT and even the SAT, definitely sophomore year. One thing our high school is putting in this year is we're going to have a testing day for all juniors in the spring to give every junior a test, whether it's the ACT work keys, which is for students who are looking to go to straight into the career fair field, and then the ASVAB for military. So we'll get all of our students tested junior year, which I think will be great because I did not realize how many students waited till their senior year to take the ACT. And if you don't take the ACT until December of your senior year, you're really behind the 8 ball on applying for scholarships and getting your stuff in place.
I'm so glad you said that because something we'll notice with some of our students is they'll wait and take it and they'll have a great score, but then there's not enough time to prep to really get it up to where you can receive the big dollars. And another thing that there's a direct correlation is, you know, your student is your child, and if you don't know how to guide them, talk to us, because at times people will back off their senior year and not have that extra math or science because they're senior and they want an easy schedule. But if we take that 4th math or 4th science, that gives you a much more competitive advantage for the ACT or the PSAT, but also it gives you that transition to where you don't have a gap year when you go to college, especially if you're going to have more math and science.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's our students have a lot of opportunity through summer school, virtual school, different things to get all sorts of credits out of the way. And so we do see a lot of students who their senior year aren't taking all 4 cores. And what they're missing is sometimes the critical thinking that takes place from those upper level 4th year science, math, English, social studies courses are what helps boost your ACT score, because you're just in that mindset of really thinking deeply about your material.
So if you're a parent and you know, I want my child to go to college or talking about going to college, I would say start taking the pre-test in 9th grade, start taking the test. Typically the students do very well, had the test multiple times, 10th and 11th grade, and then they'll finish it off their 12th grade year. We have online prep that you can take from home. We have in-school prep. We have prep classes, virtual classes. We have about every kind of prep that you can think of to help you. Now let's shift for a second. Okay, these guys are talking about college. My son, my daughter wants a trade. They know what they're going to do. Let's talk about the work keys for a minute.
Sure. So the work keys, the way it's scored just single digit numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, I believe. And what that does is it's an assessment that could tell a potential employer these are the skills that students achieved at a certain level. So when I'm looking to see, what kind of employee do I think this student's going to make, and because you're dealing with people who don't have much experience, they're 16, 17, 18-year-old students, you want something that gives you a little edge of this student, or this employee over this employee. And that work keys is an excellent example of, if you've scored platinum level, gold level on that work keys, you're dealing with a student who's really sharp, has shown the ability to think critically, and is going to do a good job for you as an employee from those hard thinking type skills.
If your child knows they want to learn a trade, and they may not be just in Springfield, Missouri, but maybe going to different regions, there are regions that really rely on the work keys, especially advanced manufacturing environments. The platinum's the equivalent of a 26 on the ACT, and like in the region I'm from in Mississippi, that's a manufacturing area. There are employers that, based on your score, your entry pay will go up.
Yeah.
And they won't even look at you if you don't have a bronze, which is the beginning level. So that's another tool that we have that can really open up doors for students. And then one last thing I'd like to throw out, we have a lot of people that move here from other states, and you may be saying, well, my child's going to go back to the state we're from, grandma lives there, but you look at out-of-state tuition. And we're talking primarily about Southwest Missouri, the colleges here, but there are a lot of colleges in other states that literally, you don't have to have a 30 on the ACT, like in some of the universities in Arkansas. If you have a 24 on the ACT or higher, they would take off all of the out-of-state tuition. The University of Arkansas, the last time I checked, if you have a 27, that would drop 90% of the out-of-state, which could mean if you have family, south of the border in the Fayetteville area, and you want to go to Fayetteville, you can knock out just about all out of state to make it affordable. And there's other states that do the same.
Yeah, and that's a ACT, and that doesn't even get into the concept of advanced placement classes, where students can earn that credit in high school for college credit, those kinds of things.
As we wrap up, if you're a parent and you have a younger child, we're not going to ever say your child can or can't. A lot of it's about the potential. But if you look at the grades they make in the elementary, you look at their state test scores, if they're knocking out all advanced scores, they're on the right pathway to really do well if they maximize their potential. And that means not just taking it easy, but taking the classes that are more challenging. At times people are always afraid, it's a hard class, but you've had the foundational classes, so it's not going to be that hard. But if you are seeing proficient scores, basic scores, a combo, there's tools that we have in place all along the way to help you to change the trajectory so you will have your child where they need to be when it's time.
Yeah, the
and
sports
we want to maximize their potential. We don't want a child that comes into the schools that's going to be very smart, and we know they're smart just to coast and then not maximize the potential. Or if someone's struggling, we want to accelerate their growth so they're going to do well too.
Yeah, the sports are definitely in place to give every student the opportunity to get exactly what they want.
Dr. Webster, thanks for being with me today. Enjoy the updates.
Thank you. Appreciate it.